was just now joking with my therapist about seasonal affective disorder, and I thought that maybe we should have a conversation because I don't think that you have sad. I think that you are sad. We're going to talk a little bit more about the difference between being sad and having seasonal affective disorder and how you might be able to tell right after the intro. And welcome back to another episode of the Daily Donna with me, your host, Dr. Donna Oreo, a sex and relationship therapist in the Washington, D.C. metro area, author of Drink Water and Mind Your Business, a Black woman's guide to unlearning the BS and healing self-esteem, baby. Where it comes right down to it, I think that a lot of us think that we have a seasonal affective disorder. Every time winter rolls around, we hear the people sing the blues. And when summer rolls back around, we're just like, oh, we're fine. It's summertime fine. We're ready to be outside and all of that stuff, which is hilarious because half of you will not actually be outside. You'll be inside where the air conditioning is. But I digress. So why is it that so many of us are saying that we have seasonal affective disorder, and what is it that I'm actually seeing? I think that a lot of us say that we have seasonal affective disorder because we're in a space now where the things that are happening in the mental health field and in that world are sort of being normalized outside, which I think as both a good and bad thing. Things are never either just good or just bad. They're usually both, BOAF. And where it comes to this one specifically, I think that we notice that there is a rhythm. And that in our noticing of the rhythm of the time where we feel maybe a little bit more joyous, a little bit more happy, that we have now attributed said happiness specifically to seasonal affective disorder. And I'm wondering if what you have is C.A.D, Capitalistic Affective Disorder. And what I mean by that is that you are into the ways that capitalism has sort of created this idea of what you're supposed to be doing and when, that it has created a rhythm, it has created a flow, and that actually what you're sad about is more to do with that flow, specifically the part where it doesn't see you as a human, and so you don't get as much time to just be outside, to just enjoy what the world has to offer when the days are a little bit shorter. Now, I'm not saying that some of you don't have seasonal affective disorder. I'm saying that I don't think it's everybody, right? Specifically, I got to thinking about the rhythms of school. Now, I'm 80s baby, late 80s, and I remember school in the 90s, we had summer breaks, and our summer breaks started in June. We had all of June, all of July, all of August, and did not return back to school until September. I think that you're actually wanting what you're needing, or what's going on is that there's a desire for a break. I think that the consistent working and the working hard and the way that we give of ourselves constantly, ceaselessly, without without space for breaks, for rest. I think that that constant giving makes us feel like summer is our season, despite the fact that workloads don't really change. I think that what it is nostalgia. I think that there is an experience of the nostalgia of what used to be. And so in summer, like even therapists across the board, a lot of them will tell you that therapy clients are a little bit more inconsistent when it comes to the summertime because everybody is summertime fine. It's good. We outside. It's hot girl summer. Ain't got no need for no therapy. Right? Like it's that good weather, it's that good outside, and suddenly nobody needs therapy, or you don't need therapy as much. And I got to thinking like, oh, you mean like around the same time that you would go on your summer vacation? I think that it's nostalgia. I think that it feels like this is a time of freedom. This feels like a time of rest. This feels like a time of connection. And like that's what we did during summer. I don't know about you, but we was outside all day. Right? We was outside, we was playing, we were at the pool, we were with our friends. It was constant connection, just time to be with the people that you like, the people that maybe you would have spent your lunch breaks with, but now you got the whole summer. The whole summer is the lunch break. And there's an ease to it. There's less pressure. There are fewer expectations and way fewer demands upon your time. So you were able to sort of lean into that feeling. And when you add the experience of what summer was back then when we were in school and add it to what nostalgia does, right? We got to talk about some of those benefits of nostalgia, because part of what it does, it also increases the feel and the want for social connection. When we are feeling nostalgic, whether or not we recognize it as nostalgia or not, that we're seeking out those sort of connections, those people that maybe we would hang out with in the summer, or some of those summertime feelings like having a field day, wearing those short shorts, being outside, being at the mall, finding that activity to do that takes you outside where the people are, or that even it just takes you outside of your house, even if the ultimate destination is going to be inside another building. But the point is that you're feeling that want for that connection, and so you're seeking it out. It also helps to offer you comfort in times of stress. And I don't know about you, but outside, I see times of stress. I see that there are lots of things going on outside that make us feel maybe uncomfortable, unsafe, not quite sane, like whether or not we've got the thing wrong, because it's like, what is going on outside? I just want to be okay, right? That desire for that okayness. So you've got these things, plus it also gives you a boost, a self-esteem boost. You are feeling more connected and in tune with you. You're feeling ready to do things and be outside. But I also think that's part of nature, right? Like nature in many ways is dormant or feels dormant in the winter and feels outside and ready to be outside with you in the summer. And I think that we are maybe erroneously connecting that to seasonal affective disorder. I think that really we are experiencing a lot of nostalgia, because there is also no reason why so many people end up returning to therapy in August. It's still summertime fine outside. Why did you return in August? Because that's about the time that you started thinking about going back to school. You started thinking about, oh, I gotta buy, we got book bags and pencils, erasers, gotta get some new clothes, right? Like it was, I think it was a part of our cycle. Now, I'm not saying that it cannot be adding into some seasonal affective disorder. I would even say that it may also be somewhat related, but in the end, I blame it all on capitalism, because capitalism is the thing that makes it so that you leave your house in the dark and come back in the dark. They could do something different, but they don't, right? I think that there are natural times of year for us where maybe we're a little bit more quiet and indoors and reflective, and that maybe those times coincide with the winter months, which can feel like you have depression when really you're just being reflective about what is, where you are, and where you would like to be, and what feels like it is within and outside of your reach. So I think that the problem with nostalgia is that it makes us feel that sense of escapism, that there are no or fewer responsibilities, but you're an adult now. The responsibilities didn't change. The way that we engage in the summer, that changes. I think that we see more possibilities. I think that we also see that more people also want to be outside and doing things, but you still got to be at work 9 to 5. Like, so your work schedule didn't change, and yet it feels better. You didn't leave in the dark and come back in the dark. That to me, that's a design. That's just a flaw in the design of capitalism. That though people like Emma Greed would prefer that you be back in the office, especially as they are naming it, that you would be more likely to succeed if you were in the office. That what they are missing out on is the fact that life doesn't just happen in the office, and that particularly in the winter months, I think that having remote work helps to combat this thing that we have all collectively named seasonal affective disorder, that is actually more related to the ways that capitalism requires us to be giving and doing productivity ceaselessly without end, regardless of what time you would get to be at your house. They are still expecting the same level of work in many ways. And I mean, even that seasonal affective disorder for a lot of people seems to take a break around Thanksgiving, seems to take a break around, I don't know, Christmas, right? The holidays, seems to take another break around New Year, seems to take a break around Valentine's Day. It's taking a lot of breaks, which is part of what makes me question, is it seasonal affective disorder? Or is it that the world around us has been so disordered or so ordered toward productivity at all costs that we simply are seeing the cost at a regular time of year where we may be more reflective because we're toward the end of a year, wanting to see what we can achieve before that year ends, and we're recognizing how much has really and truly been taken from us. I think that there is room for us to consider something outside of saying you have a mental health disorder, because really the disorder might be the capitalism that you have to engage with. The point is this: I think it's okay for you to recognize that in summertime, when you see these longer days, that you are more excited. I think that it's cool to recognize that there's a whole other part of your wardrobe that you get to wear, that you get to engage with, that there are beaches and picnics and all kinds of things that feel closer and in your grasp, because even if you don't have money, you can experience them in a way that you would like to experience them. I think it's also okay for us to name that sometimes what it is that we're experiencing is the nostalgia of what summertime has meant for us, what it has meant for how we get to engage in our lives, for who is there, for how we feel, and for what reminds us that restfulness is a beautiful thing that we may actually just be owed. Anyway, that is all I have for you today. Let me know in the comments, how were your summer breaks when you were a kid? And are you noticing that you're trying to is there a nostalgia for the pattern? Or are you just like, no, girl, I have seasonal affective disorder and my therapist said so? Because that could also be true. Hey, I'm saying that there's room for the both, and I am not on your either or. I just want us to consider this thing too. Anyway, you are the bee's knees. I am Dr. Donna. This is the Daily Donna, and I will see you in tomorrow. Bye.